Mayor Whitmire.
Present.
Councilmember Peck.
Here.
Councilmember Jackson. Councilmember Panzarello. Councilmember Evans Shabazz.
Here.
Councilmember Flickinger. Councilmember Thomas will be absent. Councilmember Huffman.
Present.
Councilmember Castillo.
Here.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Here.
Councilmember Pollard.
Here.
Councilmember Castex Tatum.
Here.
Councilmember Martinez.
Here.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Still here.
Still here. Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Carter. Councilmember Salinas. And Councilmember Alcorn.
Here.
Need a motion to delay the adoption of minutes.
Castex Tatum move.
Peck second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Okay, Councilmember Castillo.
Procedural motions.
Castillo.
Councilmember Castillo.
And then
I don't have a motion.
Councilmember
Martinez.
Martinez. Sir? Yeah, let me pause for a moment. Did you have a motion?
Procedure.
Sir?
Procedural.
Procedural.
Yes.
You have procedural?
I do, but I wanted you're going to have
Sure, sure, there's no question. You go ahead. I recognize you for that motion.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I move Ronaldo Salgado to the top of the 1 minute agenda.
Huffman seconds.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay.
Also move to add Conchita Reyes to the speakers list to follow Rolando Salgado.
Huffman second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay.
And then
Passes.
lastly, Mayor, I move to add Norma Matu and Ruth Rosque to the 1 minute agenda to follow Conchita Reyes.
Huffman seconds.
Very good. Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
And then, do you have comments, or did you want to do Davis's motion?
Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to suspend the rules to add Beth Guide to the top of the 2 minute non-agenda list.
Huffman seconds.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Panzarella.
Councilman Panzarella.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to move Ruben Garza to the top of the 1 minute non-agenda list.
Huffman
Motion
seconds.
made and seconded.
So after the Martinez name.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes,
All
ma'am,
in
yeah.
favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Give us 1 second, and then Selena. Okay.
Councilmember Salinas.
I move to move Lucia Moreno to follow Ruben Garza on the 1 minute list.
Huffman seconds.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
I don't know who that was.
Ronaldo, you want to come forward? And your family, anyone you'd like to bring? Speak into either mic, and I recognize you, and do not worry about time. There's no restraints on you and your family.
Yes. Let's do this. First off, thank you, Mayor Whitmire and Council members Martinez and Davis. Y'all were the first ones to step up and share words of condolences. Mayor, you even closed down part of Canal Street so that my mom could visit the site with no media and no crowd allowed. To the Houstonians, from the East End to the North Side, thank you. You have been the fuel to keep us going. Along with the marches and peaceful demonstrations, there's something else that you can do to help our family in this case. So, if you live anywhere near Wayside Canal, or if you know anything at all pertaining to what happened on the morning of July 7th, please consider sending any and all information to the following email address, tips@aclutexas.org. But what about the rest of y'all, council members, esteemed elected officials? How have y'all showed up for my family? Not one peep from some of y'all. Where is the basic human decency? How is it that the mayor of New York City can acknowledge this injustice from afar? Especially to some of y'all at-large members. Aren't you supposed to represent the entire city of Houston? Or does your sympathy for humanity end when it comes to the East End and Magnolia Park neighborhoods? Take a page from Willie Davis's book. He has shown up to every single event, the vigils, the masses. He was there on the day of the funeral to give his condolences, to give us a hug. And to that, Councilmember Davis, thank you so much. Please expect a thank you letter from my family for all of your support. Thank you. So he has shown up for us. My question for y'all is, how will you show up for the rest of the immigrant community here in Houston to make sure that what happened to my dad, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, doesn't happen to any of them? This isn't a partisan issue. This is an issue of right and wrong, and this wrong needs to be addressed. Every single one of you council members have immigrants living in your district. How will you protect them? My family's been asking for 3 things: a full, independent, transparent investigation, justice for my father, and for this to never happen again. Here's how you guys can help with the third one. Consider ending the HPD partnership with ICE. Consider pressuring that at the state level. Call your contemporaries at the Texas Capitol and ensure that the people, especially immigrants, can have trust in their local police departments. Many crimes go unreported. Witnesses are scared to testify, all because any interaction with law enforcement can lead to deportation. And if you're scared about losing your jobs over doing the right thing, at least you still have your life. That can't be said about my father. The justice system is slowly turning towards justice for my dad. One of the men in the van will be released very soon. The other 2 should and must follow because they deserve to be with their families as well. I went to the detention center today in Conroe to visit my uncle. I'm glad to report that he's in good spirits despite the circumstances, fully supporting us from the inside. While we visited, a woman approached my brother and I and gave us words of encouragement. This is a woman who is most likely going through one of the worst experiences imaginable, seeing their loved one behind a glass. Yet, she felt like she had to give us words of encouragement to consider fighting for justice for my dad. So, it isn't just about releasing the other 2 men, Victor Hugo and Daniel Tirado, but it's also the people inside the detention centers, many of whom have no criminal record, and they deserve to be with their families too. And if that woman at the detention center was able to give us words of encouragement, then why can't you use your voice as elected officials to do what is right for the immigrant communities in your districts and in the city of Houston overall? And this isn't just the entire city looking at us. The whole world is looking at us. And I invite you guys to be on the right side of history. Justice for Lorenzo, justice for Joanne, and justice for all. Thank you. I yield my time.
Renzo. Renan. Let me speak for the city, and certainly as the mayor. Thank you for your courage. I've been in government and sessions for years. Your strength to being here today, your courage. Thank you. We all join you in calling for reforms, justice for your father. I hope that you will communicate to your grandmother that we understand mothers are not supposed to bury their sons. To your mother, we stand ready to assist her.
Thank you.
We will call out for an independent transparent investigation, which we did at this table the day after your father's murder. We will work with our congressional leaders. I'd like to thank, as you have, Sylvia Garcia, Menifee, Lizzie Fletcher, the district attorney, Chief Diaz. So, as I've told you privately, I, on behalf of the city, are a phone call away. We want to protect your privacy, your security, and I know this is a life-altering, permanent change. We thank you for being a school teacher and changing your plans to teach this fall. I, on behalf of this council and the citizens of Houston, will memorialize your father. We will work with the family, the community. You've already given me some suggestions to where we never forget that your father did not lose his life in vain, but the community will know from now on who your father was, his values, his life, and thank you for being here today. And to your brothers, your mother, your grandmother, and to the community. I hope that people will show your family the respect as we exercise our First Amendment and not make this any more painful than it already has been. I share your frustration, your anger, your sadness, and I wish we didn't have to deal with this, as I mentioned 2 years ago. But we have to together get through this, represent the immigrant community, the East Side, and all Houstonians, and not only talk about our diversity, but practice it in our inclusion. So thank you for being here and showing the courage that you're displaying. I know your father would be proud of you. Councilmember Salinas.
Mr. Salgado, I want to thank you for being here today. I can't imagine how difficult the last few weeks have been, but your courage is an inspiration to the entire city. My one question for you, you've already answered, which is what do you want this body to do to support you? And what I heard you to say is to end HPD's cooperation with ICE. And I will tell you, sir, that many of us tried to reduce the cooperation many months ago. That effort was ultimately overturned by Governor Abbott. But you have my pledge, and I'm sure others on this council, to do everything in our power to bring that ordinance back, to honor your wishes, to ensure that we are doing everything we can to reduce cooperation with ICE.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. To our guests, we have a long list of speakers signed up today. Because we have more than 150 minutes worth of speakers, the rules require us to only give each speaker 1 minute, even if you signed up for more. I'll try to use my good judgment, but I hope in the spirit of unity, and you know we are doing the right thing, and I've just expressed we're going to get through this together. I hope we can have respect for the hearing and listen to all the speakers without interruptions and have a productive public speaking tonight. With that, Mr. Secretary, will you call the first speaker?
Conchita Reyes. to be followed by Norma Motu.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members. My name is Conchita Reyes. I'm a community advocate, and I'm also part of LULAC Council 60. On that tragic day, I was there, and I met Ronaldo. And from then on, I've been at his side and his family's side every single day. So there have been people I've contacted at the family's request. But this is an opportunity to invite everyone that's watching, everyone that's around the horseshoe, everyone behind me. I'm inviting you to partake in this endeavor. There's a place for everyone. There's a place for the people that are rallying, protesting. There's a place for our elected officials. There are a place of business owners, and there is places for our community. This is a time that not only are we fighting for human rights, but you show humanity towards one another. So I ask everyone to show respect in the name of Lorenzo, to show love, to show community, and show how strong Houston is. We did it with Harvey. We did it during the pandemic, and now's the time we show up. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Norma Matu,
Yes.
to be followed by Ruth Rosk.
Will you speak into the mic? Yes, thank you. Hi, my name's Norma Motu. I'm not going to stand here and give you statistics because y'all already know what the statistics are. You know what's going on. But what I am going to ask is to remind yourselves that when you're speaking to the governor, right, ask him this question. Do you know what an immigrant looks like? Because my birth certificate says white. But you wouldn't know that if you see me driving to the school that I'm going to teach at or the children that I'm driving. You would not know that. You would think that I'm an immigrant because of the color of my skin. And right now, immigrants are, to ICE, brown and black people. And so I really need you to understand that this is not a state, local, or federal issue. Why can't we see it as a humanitarian issue? Because the United Nations, Mr. John Whitmire, Mayor Whitmire, the United Nations has called for actively calling for an independent investigations into the spike of the deaths involving U.S. immigrations and custom enforcements. So why is our governor above the UN? Why can't the governor understand? And then, sir, what is your name?
Councilmember Ramirez.
Ramirez. Okay, so I saw you at the Texas Legislative Caucus the other day, and I saw you asking the representatives, can City Council be involved? Yes, you can. Yes, you can, sir. Because you know what? To ICE at 6:30 in the morning, you look like an immigrant too. Sir, John Whitmire, we are being targeted by our color. We are not being targeted by the knowledge or by our bachelor's, our master's, the education that we've sought for, that our fathers and mothers fought for. We are being targeted by our color. And sir, with all due respect, thank God thank God school was not in session. Because had that rogue bullet gone into one of my baby students' buses that they have to drive to get to school, we would have had another issue here. And we're about to start school in 2 weeks, sir. You're going to have more people on these roads, your roads, sir, that you swore to protect, that every one of you has sworn to protect. And you had teachers that are teaching here with immigrant status, sir. We really need you to You might not be over the mayor, and I do thank you for talking and speaking, but you know what I need you to do, sir? I need you to help HPD understand that helping ICE right now is not the case. We need to get our children educated. This issue is above immigration, sir. This is a humanitarian issue, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
No more deaths, please.
Thank you.
Ruth Rosk. To be followed by Matthew Alex.
After her. That's fine.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see all of you guys. This is my first time here, but I'm always watching everything on the news that's going on, and I'm a Houstonian. I grew up here, born here. My mom immigrated here from El Salvador, and I don't have a lot. I could say a lot, but I think what I'm going to do instead is just read a letter from somebody that was in detention and what happened to them while they were in detention. And I also brought it for you guys to see. If you want to look at it, you can have the copies. But, sorry, I'm nervous. And I want to say this without too much emotion, but this has been going on since, I mean, it's always been happening, but I feel like it's ramped up more since last year, around the time that Emmanuel was taken unjustly, held for 50 days. And then at that time, I said, these people are out here in our streets making it unsafe, and someone's going to get hurt. Somebody got killed, right? So I've been saying that's going to happen since January, when I seen this person get taken in my neighborhood, a couple. So you guys want to keep it, it's there, but they went to 3 different detention centers in 1 month and were deported back to Venezuela, and they did everything right. So what I'm saying is this is affecting our neighborhood. It's hurting our neighborhood. I grew up in Spring Branch. My neighborhood's not the same anymore. People are scared. People don't want to go outside. Kids are suffering. And the people don't understand is that this all has a ripple effect on our youth. It's creating a whole wave of youth that are going to be mad at you guys for what y'all did to their parents. Because if what was happening right now was happening when I was a kid, because my mom came here in the 80s from El Salvador, which is a whole other issue that we're not going to talk about because of why she came here. She fled a civil war because her country was messed up. My dad is an American. I'm half Salvadorian, half American. If right now was happening, I would be at risk of losing a family member or a parent. Right now, I have family members at risk of being deported. I'm talking children.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
What I'm saying is it's affecting everybody in so many ways, and it's hurting our children. And we shouldn't have to have safety action plans for kids that are born here just in case they go out with their dad who's Mexican, who looks a certain way, who, in case he gets pulled over, we have to have a plan of action.
Right.
So
thank you.
That's it. But
you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, and I feel bad for our neighborhood, and I hope it heals.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to suspend the rules to add Tan Nguyen behind Saji Chaco under the 3-minute.
Motion's made. Made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. My name is Matthew Alex, trustee of St. Mary's Knanaya Catholic Church. I respectfully support agenda item 17. Our request is limited or modesty mausoleum in our parish members within walled church campus. I would like to, it would be no underground graves and would be permanently maintained by the parish. We are committed to protect public health, safety, environment in our neighbors. We are comply all the applicable city and state requirement. The project would provide parish with a dignified Catholic resting place area near our spiritual home. Please vote for agenda item 17.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Abraham Jacob of Missouri City. To be followed by Jasim Jacob of Missouri City.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and respected council members. My name is Father Abraham Jacob. I'm the pastor of the St. Mary's Kananaya Catholic Church at 6400 West Buckout Drive. Although our mailing address is Missouri City, our property is within the jurisdiction of the City of Houston. I respectfully support Agenda Item 17. Our parish wishes to apply for permission to construct a modest, above-ground mausoleum within our church campus. It would contain sealed individual crypts on an engineered concrete platform with no underground burial. It would be reserved for parish members and permanently maintained by the church. This request comes especially from our senior citizens who desire a signified Catholic resting place near the church that has been their spiritual home. In our faith, caring for the deceased is a corporal work of mercy, and praying for them express our hope in the resurrection. We are prepared to comply with all requirements concerning public health, engineering, drainage, accessibility, and neighborhood protection. So please adopt Agenda Item 17 so that we may submit a complete application for the city's professional review. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Jasim Jacob of Missouri City, to be followed by Jose Chaco of Missouri City.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and Council members. Thank you all for time, and I don't want to repeat what our father said. It's the same request that kindly approve our project, and our community will be really thankful, and it will be a big help for the community, especially the elderly people who cannot afford a expensive burial or anything, and elderly people, they cannot visit their loved one's site on a distant place. So it will be very helpful for us. And I want to thank you all, and especially I want to extend our thanks for Mr. Zamora, who has spent a lot of time for this project and helping us on this matter. Thank you all.
Thank you. Next.
Jose Chaco, to be followed by Saji Chaco of Pearland.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. My name is Jose Chaco. I am the Treasurer of St. Mary's Kananaya Catholic Church. I respectfully support Agenda Item 17. Our proposal has been designed with public health, safety, environmental responsibility, and neighborhood protection in mind. The mausoleum would contain permanently sealed crypts constructed entirely above ground on an engineered concrete platform. It would be located inside our existing walled church campus. Its architecture, landscaping, lighting, drainage access, and screening would complement the church and protect neighboring properties. We are prepared to submit a professional survey, site plan, engineering and drainage documents, access plan, maintenance program, and all required health and environmental information. The parish will also provide permanent supervision and financial responsibility
your time
for
has
its care.
expired.
We welcome a careful review. We are not requesting exemption from regulation. We are requesting a clear and transparent process through which we can demonstrate compliance. Please support Agenda Item 17. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. My question is for our city attorney. So tomorrow, when we look at Item 17 for the mausoleum, this is located at 6400 West Fuquay in Fort Bend, Houston. The church is wanting to erect a mausoleum. We did not have anything on the books for someone to erect a cemetery on private property. So we have this now. If we vote for this tomorrow, then what is the next step for the church in order for them to be able to move forward?
Right. So what the ordinance does tomorrow is prescribe the information that has to be submitted by the church in order to open this mausoleum. And as I've spoken to them, this is a mausoleum that would be only on the church property and only open to individuals who are members of that church. So, it's going to be a very small mausoleum. So the ordinance tomorrow essentially says if you would like to open this mausoleum, or it could be a cemetery, but in this case a mausoleum, within the city limits, this is the information that we need. They will provide that to the city secretary. Once they provide that information, there has to be a second vote by council, where council has to essentially make the determination that this mausoleum will not impact the health and safety of essentially the neighborhood. There's a little bit more. It's for many, many years, to be candid with you, you could not open up a mausoleum or cemetery within city limits. That was a law. The law was changed several years ago, and it is now a two-step process. Process number one is pass an ordinance that prescribes what information a city wants, and then the second step is to review that information and decide that, yes, you can open the cemetery within the city limits. So then after they provide the information to the city secretary, we would provide it to city council members. We'd probably also have the health department look at it.
Okay.
And then you would have to make a determination.
Yes. Who actually will, from the city, will actually make that determination? So the health department would probably go, and then we'll get the briefing, and then we make the decision.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Next.
Sajid Chako, to be followed by Ton Nguyen.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. My name is Sajid Chako, one of the trustees of St. Mary's Knanaya Catholic Church. Catholics treat the bodies of the deceased with the dignity and pray for them a sacred responsibility. Our families traditionally visit their tombs after church services on anniversaries, Memorial Days, and All Saints' Day. Since there is no conveniently located Catholic cemetery near our parish, a mausoleum on the church campus would allow elderly spouses, children, and grandchildren to pray for their loved ones without traveling long distances. Please support Agenda Item 17 and allow our parish to submit its application for city review. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Tuan Nguyen, to be followed by Ruben Garza.
Thank you, Councilmember Kasich Tatum, for adding me. I wanted to say and ask the mayor if he knew the names of the 3 men that were detained after Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was killed. If he knew their full names. All right, so I'll share their names. I might struggle a bit. Victor Salgado Araujo, of course, his brother, Daniel Pantoja Tirado, and Jose Trinidad Rojas. Are any of these men worth less because they did not die? Where are the calls for their freedom? Mayor Whitmire constantly proclaims his leadership in this city. In a New York Times interview, he bemoans leadership like that of Zoran Mamdani. And yet, when an immigrant was detained by ICE, the next day, the mayor, Mamdani, called President Trump, and the immigrant was released. But here for a year, we've been told that City Council has no power. So, Mayor Whitmire, as you've communicated to all of us, you're in constant communication with the governor, with the president. Your leadership, your relationship with them has ensured this city's safety, although people continue to be detained and now someone is killed. And so I'd like to ask that this amazing relationship that you have with the president, that you use to free the 3 men.
Time has expired.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I first want to preface this by saying that I'm not here to speak about the Salgado family or the shooting, but my condolences are with the family, and hopefully we will see some justice prevail for Lorenzo, including the prosecution of his murderers. I'm here to talk about the Houston Chronicle editorial piece on parking reform. Whether you like the Houston Chronicle or not, even if you don't, you got to admit a broken clock is right twice a day. The Houston Chronicle called the attention to parking reform as a vital step for economic development and infill in the city of Houston. As a city, we can either increase taxes or fees, reduce services, or develop in a more productive way. I hope that the city chooses option 3. We eliminate parking requirements and allow developers and small business owners and local businesses to develop and build homes as needed in our communities, because that's what we need the most right now. And I know I'm coming to City Council to testify about this again and again and again, but this is an issue that means a lot to me because I care about small business, I care about economic development, and I'm sick and tired of the city being too broke to do anything about streets, about flooding, and very lastly, I'm going to keep coming back here until my hair either looks like Councilmember Ramirez's or Mayor Whitmire's, depending on which side of the family's genes I have. Thank you.
Next.
Lucia Moreno. To be followed by Ryan Anderson.
I think there's a confusion because I'm set for the 3 minutes instead of the 1 minute. I'm on the list, so I'm not sure. And thank you for my trash can, Mayor. Okay, thank you. If I had known I was this close. Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for your time today. I am here to offer concrete solutions to generate revenue for BARC and the city through ordinances enforcement while addressing the severe animal welfare crisis in our neighborhoods. Many people look at animal rescuers and think we are just crazy pet people. We are not. Many of us come from places of deep personal hardship. I was living on the streets at 14 to escape an abusive home, beaten by a stepmother with dog chains. We didn't have CPS then, so it meant nothing. We do this work from a place of profound empathy, not for attention. I have been an independent rescuer in this city for over 30 years, and I can tell you firsthand, the situation is getting worse because our city ordinances are completely ignored. People travel from all over the city to abandon pets in our neighborhoods daily. Rescues are aging out, and we cannot keep up. We have great laws on the books, but they lack enforcement, and the few tickets written are often dismissed. To fix this, raise revenue, and save animals, I propose 3 immediate actions. Enforce parking lot sales. Individuals selling puppies in parking lots should face 3 immediate citations. Operating a business without a permit, breeding without a license, and standard animal ordinance violations. That's 3 tickets. That's money. If they cannot pay the fines, mandate community service hours directly at BARC or register rescues to offset the labor shortage. Establish a volunteer 311 animal task force to keep from inundating our 311 operators. The city should utilize our massive network of independent rescuers and street feeders as trained volunteers to process, vet, and routine animal welfare data directly to BARC. Address breeding among the unhoused. While many unhoused individuals care for their pets, some use them to generate donations, mistreat them, or breed them for cash parking lot sales. We must enforce a mandate to keep an animal in these conditions. It must be spayed or neutered. Rescues will gladly facilitate this using existing free city and nonprofit resources. Rescues and independent feeders are ready to jump in and assist the city in any way we can. However, we need the city to meet us halfway. Right now, when we try to report these violations, some police officers laugh at the ordinances or refuse to help. We don't necessarily need new laws. We need the political will to enforce the ones we have. Let's protect our animals, support our rescuers, and generate the revenue BARC desperately needs. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Coming up here, I saw plenty of them, but I do have a complaint about coming in today. After 5, we can't go through your tunnel. They tell us that we can't. And if you're handicapped like myself, I have to come up the stairs, walk over here, and they're blocked.
Thank
we
you.
have to go around and up the stairs.
We will address that. Thank you.
Thank you. One more thing, Mayor. Please don't be mad at me. But I do need to say this today.
Get closer to the mic.
Today, I saw one of your councilmen be very rude to Councilman Salinas' person. I'm sitting there. They know I'm sitting there. I'm a constituent. How dare you, Councilman Davis, come up and threaten that man? You could have told him in another way that you don't want your face on his video. What you did was wrong.
Thank you.
Next. Ryan Anderson, to be followed by Lindsey Burrows.
Hello. Both ICE and HPD are actively trampling on our First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights, while you, Mayor John Whitmire, continue to bend the knee to the fascist movement in this country. The Wednesday after ICE murdered Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, I was at the vigil. I know none of y'all were there, so I'll give you a quick recap. The vigil was on the same side of the street that was under construction. It was blocked off, independent of the vigil being there. However, at 9:15, HPD officers instructed us to leave. I asked them why they were trying to get us to leave. We were mourning at a vigil, and they told me they wanted to open it up for traffic. Like I said, it was already under construction. The cars couldn't get on there on that street regardless. And so I tried to tell that HPD officer that. Their response was, I don't know, I'm just following orders. Their order was to deny us of our First Amendment right to assemble, and they obeyed. They obeyed because you greenlit them. You allowed them to trample on our rights while doing nothing as a leader. HPD spits on the Fourth Amendment every time they hold a Houstonian at a traffic stop just for ICE to show up. And now ICE is obstructing due process, the Fifth Amendment, for Victor Salgado Araujo, Daniel Pantoja, and Jose Rojas. These men are not only witnesses to ICE's murder, but they are victims of ICE as well. Free them.
Lindsey Burrows. Jeremy Peel, to be followed by James Shriver.
Good evening, Council. On July 7th, I was at a court in 3rd Ward representing an undocumented couple during their eviction proceeding. When we left the courtroom, I advised them not to communicate with their landlord to avoid upsetting her because I was afraid they might retaliate and call ICE. What I didn't know was that a couple hours earlier, only a few miles away, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo had been murdered by ICE in our streets. For months, we warned you that this could happen in our city, and you said there was nothing you could do. However, we now know that not only has HPD increased the number of times they've called ICE, but they've doubled those numbers. We know that some officers waited over 2 hours for ICE to arrive, even after being directed not to. While HPD wasn't involved in the shooting, when you hand over a detainee to ICE, you're handing them over to the very agents who murdered one of our own. And if this is what they're willing to do in our streets, what do you think they're willing to do behind the closed doors of a detention facility where they're threatening witnesses? Let me assure you, we are going to the polls in November, and we will do the same next year as well. This is not a political issue. This is a public safety issue. And you can't say you care about public safety until you care about the safety of all Houstonians, regardless of where they came from.
James Shriver. To be followed by Jesus Nieto.
Mayor, members of council, this is not the first time I've come to you to speak about immigrants' rights. We've come for months. After the killings in Minnesota, we knew this was going to happen in Houston. We tried to get you to take action. Councilmember Salinas wrote an ordinance. The governor vetoed the ordinance. How ridiculous is that? We call upon you to reinstate the ordinance, break the collaboration between HPD and ICE. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. My heart goes out to the family.
Jesus Nieto, Tabitha Clay, Elijah Newman, to be followed by Ethan Campbell.
Can you all hear me in the crowd? Thank you. Okay, let's start with Councilmember Evan Shabazz. I want to start with saying I have semi-personal relationships with some of you, so I acknowledge that you're human beings, but we've asked you to do a job. Councilmember Evan Shabazz, I don't appreciate how you addressed the crowd in a testimony the other day, saying that we need to vote on people. I'm looking at you. You're sitting right here. You're an elected official. And I'm going to keep going because I'm being timed, but we also can't elect anybody in HPD. This is not the county. There's nothing that we can do. We're asking you to show up right now. I want to say, John Whitmire, you've done some amazing work in the past. One of the biggest things that you've done is fought to repeal the Texas sodomy law in 1993 after the height of the AIDS epidemic. You worked to decriminalize truancy, and you fought for DACA recipients. Where is that guy? I don't see him today. Bring him back. And I want to call for the release of the witnesses to Lorenzo Salgado's murder. And the last thing is that none of your jobs are safe. If you're term limited, you're lucky. If you're not, well, I would say you should keep your eyes out because we are coming for your jobs. We are not afraid to run. We will replace you.
Ethan Campbell of Crosby. Quinn Dufarina, to be followed by Isaiah Lopez.
Good evening. My name is Quinn Dufarina. I am a resident of District H. I'm here tonight to do three things. Ask you to do more to bring justice for the murder of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo and his family, to secure the release of the remaining Houstonians held in ICE custody, and end city collaboration with ICE. We have a small win, small victory to celebrate tonight with the judge's order to release Jose Rojas Pliego. Now, this was a choice of a federal judge, but this release was made possible by the pressure by family members, by citizens like ourselves, and politicians like you. You may not have the authority to release the other two Houstonians, but it does not mean you're powerless. Each of you has more power, magnitudes more power than any of us in the crowd and the average Houstonian. So use that power. Leverage your influence on federal officials, business leaders. We all know a lot of you have good relationship with business leaders. So use your voice to stop ICE terrorism here in the city of Houston, in our city, in your city, and just do more.
Isaiah Lopez. Samuel Jesse, to be followed by Michael Hilbig.
Hello. My name is Dr. Samuel David Jess of District D. My views represent my own. However, I'd like to get your views with a simple poll. I invite you and the people behind me to raise your hands. Raise your hands if you see immigrants as your neighbors, regardless of their documentation status. Raise your hand if you are outraged by the killing of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo by ICE. Raise your hand if you want the city to end collaboration with HPD and ICE and will fight the state to bring the ordinance back. Raise your hand if you want Victor Salgado Araujo, Daniel Torrado Pantoja, and Jose Trinidad Rojas to be freed from Joe Corley Processing Center in Conroe. Now raise your fist if you are hungry to unite with the people beside you and take action to make sure that this never happens in our city again. Now, I don't need to turn around to know where the people behind me stand. And if you are unwilling to take a stand on this now, then please follow the logical conclusion. You can do so by lying on your belly like a coward of snakes and retreating back into the darkness from whence you came.
Sir. Go ahead, please.
Hello. My name is Mike Hilbig, and I'm an organizer with the PSO who also used to teach freshman composition at the University of Houston downtown. I'd like to talk about a student I had some years back, an 18-year-old first-generation college student from El Salvador. She wrote me a personal narrative about the time when she was 5 years old and had to close her eyes and hold her mother's hand as they waded through a river of dead bodies to get here on their way to seeking asylum. I don't know what has happened to her since, but I wonder if she's sitting in ICE detention today. I'm also reminded by my work in the pro-Palestine movement that this city council has still not divested from sending weapons to Israel, made by the same companies who have sent numerous arms shipments to Latin America. When you take blood money, you create the situation in which people need to flee authoritarian governments in the first place. And when you fail to act when men like Lorenzo are murdered, you participate in the same authoritarian terror here. I demand that you prosecute the agents who murdered Lorenzo and that you stand up and fight for your own people, many of whom have fled countries because of blood money that people in this city council have taken. Shame!
Beth Guide.
Hi, everyone. I originally came to ask about air conditioning and climate change and how we can go down an air conditioning road and want climate change at the same time, because they seem to be against each other, working against each other. So there seems to be a divide there. But I'm sitting here listening to this. I am a naturalized American citizen. I did it legally. And I appreciate that, you know, nobody should have the right to get shot and all this other stuff that goes on. But on the other side of the coin, guys, you're putting me at risk because we're not enforcing the law. And by not enforcing the law, those of us that are here legally, we're struggling against it. Either we're a city of laws or we're not a city of laws. And we need to pick a direction and go in that direction. But what I will say is that I came here for a better life. I did it legally. And every time we put me and lump me in the same breath as somebody that didn't, you're demeaning me and taking away my stature as well. And I don't know that people think about the naturalized American citizens. And there's a lot of us. I did a head count. I'm here with a group of 8. Over 1/3 of that group is naturalized. So thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Next.
Lorenzo Salgado Jr. I don't think he's here. Tom Beecham. To be followed by Christopher Casas.
Good evening, City Council. Hello, my name is Tom Beauchamp, and I'm a proud veteran of the United States Army residing in District J in Southwest Houston. I'm standing here today in solidarity with this community alongside my fellow veterans from Common Defense because on July 7th, an ICE officer took the life of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo right here in our city. That was wrong. It was a wrongful killing, and we will not look away from it. When I raised my right hand and swore an oath to defend the Constitution, I meant it. Every veteran standing with me today meant it too. Many people think the oath ends when your service does. It doesn't. It never expires. Not for me, not for any of us. It's still binding. It still means something, and that's why we're here. So we are demanding that the City of Houston require HPD to fully cooperate with the Harris County District Attorney's independent investigation, release the surveillance footage, and don't obstruct the justice that Lorenzo and his community deserves. And I'm demanding that this city pass ordinances so that no federal agency, no task force can carry out a high-risk operation or a traffic stop inside Houston city limits in secret. That means unmasked, on camera, and with local dispatch notified. If you're going to act in our city, we have a right to see your face and know your name. Lorenzo deserved better. Lorenzo deserved better. His family deserves to still have him at home. Our neighbors here in Houston deserve better, and Houston can do better. Thank you.
Next.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Christopher John Casas. I'm a District E resident, lifelong Houstonian, and U.S. Marine veteran. I'm here today because I care deeply about family, safety, and keeping our promises to service members. I'm asking you to stand up for Houstonians, veterans, and civilians who are being abducted and murdered by ICE. Shirley Guardado came here when she was 16. She graduated high school, she got a job, and she married an active duty soldier, and then she became a mother. Yet she was abducted and deported last year all the same, separating her from her infant son. Learning that HPD assisted ICE in this makes me ashamed of our city's silence. I question the sincerity of leaders who claim to support the troops while enabling policies that tear their families apart. No human being, regardless of status, should have their parents kidnapped or killed. A federal judge ordered Jose released yesterday. I ask you to publicly call on ICE to release Victor, Daniel, and Jose, the key witnesses in the murder of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. Thank you.
Rishab Chawla, to be followed by Griffin Walker.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Rishab Chawla. I am I'm part of District D. 1 year ago, I stood here and spoke about HPD's shameful collaboration with ICE that, unfortunately, Mayor Whitmire has repeatedly overseen and defended. And who has paid the price of this? Over 100 calls to ICE in the last 3 months alone, leading to several detentions of community members. This has a chilling effect on people simply being able to participate and exist in public society. Avoiding grocery store shopping, fear of dropping one's kids to school, or God forbid, not going to the doctor when you're sick because you don't know if it'll be your last time with your family. I'm a resident physician and a child psychiatrist in training, and it breaks my heart to say that separating children from their parents in this way has been linked to increased anxiety, behavioral issues, and PTSD symptoms. But it shouldn't take a doctor to know that. It just should take a human being. And right now I'm doubting your humanity. So will you be a fellow human and call for the immediate release of Victor Salgado Araujo, Daniel Torrado Pantoja, and Jose Trinidad Rosa? Thank you.
Next.
I'm Griffin from District C, and I'm an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation and Stand Up Houston, an immigrant rights volunteer network. It's been 3 weeks since the murder of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, and we still don't know the names of his murderers. They get to go home to their families and continue terrorizing our community, while Lorenzo's family will never see him again. That makes it perfectly clear that some community members are worth more than others to you. You're fine with letting ICE agents who are murderers run amok in unmarked cars with faces hidden and weapons poised to kill the rest of us? Are they deserving of some protection that the rest of us are not? When an immigration violation, a civil offense which is not a crime, is punished more heavily than murder, the only logical explanation is racism. And now, as TPS ends for Haitians this week, the entire black community in Houston and across this country will be further endangered. We know ICE agents don't care whether we're citizens or not. Do you? As long as we're black and brown, they'll kidnap us or kill us first and maybe ask questions later. If you are not demanding the release of the names of Lorenzo's murderers, the release of the other men imprisoned, you are an enemy of the people of Houston.
Karthik Sura. Cora Fortune. To be followed by Sylvester Redenberg.
Okay, I'm going to say it again. It has been 3 weeks since Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was murdered, and we still don't know the names of his killers. We still do not have justice. Everyone who sits in front of us today has failed the city of Houston. You have let ICE run rampant in our streets. You do not serve the people of the city. You tell us to act right. Wait for November. But those are the words of cowards. The people of Houston, we are a people of courage. We have stood up. We have taken to the streets. We have shut our businesses down to demand justice for Lorenzo. And when we look at history, we know that every victory that the working people of this country have ever won was not handed to us by the people in power. No, we had to struggle. We had to fight for those victories, and we're going to keep doing that. The people of Houston are going to keep fighting for our city, for an end to ICE terror, for justice for Lorenzo, and the people who are meant to serve us, you, have failed, but we know that we run this city, and we have the power to keep shutting it down until justice is served. Justice for Lorenzo! Justice for Lorenzo! Justice for Lorenzo!
Please. Sure. Call your next speaker.
Sylvester Redenberg. Sylvester Redenberg. To be followed by Jasmine Katamakbari.
I'm Sylvester. I'm an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. For well over a year, ICE, with the full cooperation of HPD, has been terrorizing our immigrant communities. And now they've murdered a Houstonian. And the response from the mayor and many on city council has been baffling, complaining about how our protests make you feel, saying there's not much you can do, blaming your own constituents for not voting in some election that hasn't happened yet. You continue to make excuses while ordinary people exhaust every channel available to them to get justice for Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. The entire country is watching what is happening here, and they are watching you refuse to bring these killer ICE agents to justice. Why do we still not know the names of Lorenzo's killers? We are seeing the ramifications of this in Maine, in Florida, in Wisconsin, in Austin. ICE and police feel emboldened to use excessive lethal violence because they know they can do it with impunity, with anonymity, without anyone knowing their names. Release the names of Lorenzo's killers to the public, release the other witnesses, and get these sadistic killer ICE agents off our streets.
The city of Houston has blood on its hands, and the Houston Police Department is complicit. When Houston tried to pass the ordinance to stop HPD from aiding and abetting the rogue organization that murders our people on the streets, what did you do? You had the opportunity to fight ICE, and you refused. And now a father has been murdered. You emboldened ICE, and the result is that in the last 3 months, HPD has called ICE over 100 times, and 19 people have been taken into ICE custody. I spoke to one of the community members who was detained and deported during one of HPD's traffic stops last year. They told me that the day that they were deported was the day that their happiness was taken away from them. And to this day, they haven't gotten it back. So don't tell us that there's nothing you can do. Don't tell us to vote harder. Don't tell us we need to reform ICE. Have the political and moral will to act, to say the words abolish ICE, even if it doesn't please your donors.
Your time has expired.
Have the political courage to end HPD's relationship with ICE, even if you have to stand up to the state to do it. And use every political connection you have to ensure that Victor Salgado Araujo and Daniel Tirado Pantoja get out of detention and get ICE out of Houston.
Claire Stakely, to be followed by Antonio Ventura.
I am an organizer with the PSL, and I call on the council to stop HPD's collaboration with ICE. HPD has no mandate, no authority to enforce immigration warrants. HPD is wasting resources, kidnapping people, and holding them hostage, spending 6 times longer waiting around for ICE than on any other call. Because HPD and this council has allowed ICE to ransack our city. Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was murdered on his way to work. This council has insisted it can do nothing when the thing it could have done and should have done is something Councilmember Salinas has already proposed. Stop HPD's collaboration with ICE. Mayor Whitmire would rather bow down to Abbott and Trump than protect the citizens he promised to serve. Lorenzo lived more years in this city than I've been alive. He was as much a part of this city as I am. This is a racist system.
Your
You
time
are
has
upholding.
expired.
You are encouraging and facilitating the abuse, enslavement, and murder of people for profit. Are we meant to ignore the overtime police earn from all this waiting around? Are we meant to ignore the donations to your campaign funds from their unions? Are we meant to ignore the massive contracts corporations like Core Civic receive from the state to hold innocents, including children, in abhorrent conditions? How dare you do this with our tax dollars when we can barely afford to pay our bills and put food on the table? End HPD's collaboration with ICE now!
Good evening. My name is Antonio Ventura, and I am an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I'm a child of an immigrant who used to live and work here in Houston, and I have found my city's leadership and their response to ICE's invasion of Houston to be extremely disturbing. Mayor Whitmire, you hesitated to call for an independent investigation when Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was murdered on our streets, and still you refuse to take productive steps towards exiling ICE from our city. Instead, you call for a moratorium. What else do you have to see? You lied to our faces when you said HPD was not working with ICE, and just when it looked like you'd actually stand up for your constituents and end this collaboration, you gave in to the fascist Republican Party's demands and kept these known murderers on our streets. You let them free to traffic our neighbors into for-profit facilities where they face inhumane, torturous conditions, medical neglect, and rape. Your cowardice led to the vicious murder of a father over paperwork, by the way.
Thank you. Sir.
And apparently you think that body cameras will fix this, as if there isn't more than enough evidence of ICE's depraved behavior. We know that they lie. They dared to lie about Mr. Araujo having drugs in his car when he was on his way to work building this city. And ICE doesn't need more training, they don't need reform, they don't need body cameras, and they won't be stopped by a moratorium. They need to get the fuck out of our city.
Kirsten Webster. Aya Hanifa. To be followed by Jeffrey Foley.
Good evening. My name is Kirsten Webster, and I am standing before you as an organizer with the PSL. I am here to express my frustration and my anger over the lack of accountability and transparency of city officials and ICE in relation to the July 7th murder of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. It has been 3 weeks since Lorenzo was killed in cold blood while on his way to work, something that no one should fear doing by ICE agents whose names have still not been released. The citizens of Houston deserve transparency. The family of Lorenzo deserves transparency. ICE agents have a history of avoiding accountability by alleging victimhood in crimes they were later revealed to have instigated, a cycle we have seen time and time again. And while the Araujo family and the community grieves the loss of a father and worry for the well-being of a detained uncle, these murderous ICE agents are being protected by the elected officials that are supposed to represent us. They are going about their lives as if they don't have a man's blood on their hands, hiding like cowards behind their mask. While Lorenzo's name is being dragged with false accusations, these agents are avoiding public repercussions for their actions. We, as members of the community, demand justice for Lorenzo Salgado Araujo and demand the release of the names of the ICE agents now.
Hello, my name is Aya Hanifa. I'm an organizer with the PSL. Mayor Whitmire, for almost 2 years, you have chosen to stay complacent and show no urgency to stop the collaboration with ICE in this city. The people you vowed to serve have begged you to take action for months. Even when a neighbor, father, and essential worker was murdered in your own streets, still you do nothing. You have shown that you do not care to protect the city or the tyrannical killers known as ICE. And to Ms. Carolyn Evans, you have the audacity to look us in the face and tell us that the solution to all of this is to go vote? Voting, going up to the polls is not going to bring Lorenzo back to his family. These last 2 weeks have proven one thing, that the people that live here in this city have each other's backs. Where you all slack to even look up at us as we demand justice? We, the people, lend a listening ear to each other, a shoulder to cry on, and a hand in hand as we march for restitution. The people of this city have shown radical love for their community by taking to the streets to protest and get organized to defend their neighbors getting terrorized by ICE. Only we will be our own heroes. Justice for Lorenzo. Abolish ICE now.
Councilman Salinas.
I'd like to make a procedural motion to add Haley Rogers to the end of the speakers list. Second. Haley Rogers.
Your motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Sorry. Mr. Mayor, men and women of City Council, my name is Jeffrey Foley, and I come before you to entreat with you for justice. Justice, of course, for the murdered Lorenzo Araujo. Now, while that man's life cannot be given back, as I speak, originally 3, now just 2 of his fellows, by the grace of a federal judge, those men being Daniel Pantoja and his own brother, Victor Araujo, remain in custody. These men in custody are not criminals. They are not villains, nor crooks, nor anything of the like. They are common people, workers of flesh and blood, people who labor to provide for themselves, for their families, for their communities, people who have been made victims by a state apparatus that thrives upon racialized violence. Those men in custody have done no genuine wrong to anyone in this city, no one in here, no one out there, no wrong whatsoever. Thus, in accordance with that which is good and just, I call upon the City Council to do all that is possible within its power to release those 2 men, to see to their release, and to end the collaboration with the gang of fascist bandits that call themselves ICE. Thank you.
And Andrea Guerrero. Eric Eresian. Eresian. Yeah, close.
I don't have it for everyone, but yeah, just like every 2 or 3, because it's not enough, and then 1 for the mayor, the one that says the. Yeah, again, y'all will just have to share. So, all right, thank you, City Council and Mayor and Councilmember Amy Peck. Good to see you. I remember when you were the assistant to my former city council member back in Spring Branch, so it's good to see you. Okay, this was slated supposed to be for 2-3 minutes, so I'll try to truncate this, but at least you have the documents there. And then, so I'm a pedicab, not just driver, but also a owner of Houston Pedicabs, one of the original pedicab companies. And I'm also, as of right now, really one of the only actual compliance or basically legal pedicabber, because I do not use the electric motor. The city, as you can see there, the city defines pedicabs as bicycle, tricycle. That's device. It's human powered, so the city doesn't allow motors. But every pedicab out there has electric motors, so they're out of compliance. Even those people that came in here several months ago, when they were complaining, they had legitimate complaints. But the one thing they didn't tell you is all of those guys also had motors, so they are also out of compliance as well. The reason why I would like the city to enforce its has with not allowing motors. As you can see there, they're dangerous. See in Austin, with the batteries, they use these lithium phosphate iron batteries. They can easily catch fires.
Your time has expired.
The one in Austin destroyed 20% of them. Another problem with these motors is they allow for these bigger, because they're not actually pedaling like they're supposed to be doing, and they're not pedal assist, they allow for them to use these six-seater motors, six-seater bikes, which are a lot bigger, and then these motors allow them to go 30 to 40 miles per hour.
Sir, we have a question or comment. 1 second. Council Mayor Pro Tem.
Eric, thank you for coming. I know that you have been talking about the whole pedicab industry. This is how you are making your living. My question is for the city attorney. Do we give permits to pedicabs that have motors?
That question, I do not have an answer for, council member. That would be probably an ARA question. I can find out for you, but I don't know off the top of my head.
I can answer that real quick. So when you go do your inspection with ARA, you get inspected for as like I am, no motor out. So there's no check to make sure that one, you have a functional motor, that your battery's safe. None of that's happened. They just put it on after, and so the city doesn't have that in there. Now, if the city wants to, which again I would advise not to, but the city doesn't care and still will allow them to have the electric motors. I do have suggestions on how to do it, which is on the paper, which is in Austin, which does have motors. The actual regulators out there, they will be out there and they actually have radar guns on us to make sure that you don't go over 15 miles per hour. As well as in San Antonio, which does have motors, they have to have fire extinguishers on the cabs because, again, those things can catch fires really easily. So those are some suggestions. And the other one was also be, if they're going to have motors, they have to be the mid-drive. Those are the ones that actually will allow pedal assist. They have the rear ones or the front hub. It's not pedal assist. Pedal assist means that you go exactly what you can do pedaling. That doesn't mean you can go 30, 40 miles per hour. That's like saying that my truck is being assisted by me. It's obviously doing the whole thing. So, but yeah, they do not get inspected when they do it.
So what you're saying is people go and get their ARA permit and then they put the motor on after effect. So we need the enforcement if we are not going to allow motors on the pedicabs. Are you against motors on pedicabs?
I'm against it because of, as I have listed on here, one, it's dangerous. What I would like for y'all to do this Friday, there's going to be the Astros versus the Rangers. If some of y'all could come during the 9:30 to 10 o'clock when it comes out, I would just like y'all to stand on Texas Street and just watch. Just watch how they operate. See how fast they go when people are being let out, how many people there are. See how fast those things are traveling. Yes, some of these people have hit people such as over at Reliance Stadium, and then they run off and all. So I'm against that. It's dangerous. It promotes criminal behavior. There was an incident apparently happened in 2025 at the rodeo. This idiot from Chicago came down. It was at Kirby and McNee. We know that we're not supposed to cross over into Kirby, but this guy, he had people on his cab. He was told by the constable not to do it, but because he had a motor, he kept doing it. And apparently, this is what he relayed to another pedicab because he was proud of it. The constable told him not to do it, came back, he did it again, and then the constable was going to arrest him or whatever, and he just took off because he couldn't. He had a motor.
Because he had a motor. Okay, yes. I get it. I do think that we need to have some conversation with ARA. I know that people were concerned that we had a lot of unpermitted pedicabs, and then we put out some additional enforcement to try to make sure that all the pedicabs had their permits. So it looks like now we got an additional issue that we need to deal with. We need to determine if we're allowing motors or not allowing motors, and then figure out how we enforce that. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. We'll circle back with ARA on this issue. I'm not sure which committee this could potentially go to, or at least just have that conversation with ARA about the enforcement of the pedicabs with motors.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing this information.
Vice Mayor Pro Tem Peck.
Thank you for coming today to talk about this. Councilmember Flickinger and I have actually been working on the issue of motorized bikes in general in the city of Houston because they've become very dangerous, and so and many of them are not allowed by the state of Texas. So we've been working on how to kind of crack down on that in general. So to hear that, you know, it may be on the pedicabs and certain ones may not be even allowed by the state of Texas, I do want to work with Mayor Pro Tem Castex Tatum to see what we need to do about that, because you're right, they can be very dangerous, as we've seen with just the regular motorized bikes. So
Come out this
we'll work
Friday.
with you on that.
Thank you. Rangers, just come out there.
Thank you. Next.
Scotty Joseph. Amina Ishaq. Katie O'Shea, to be followed by Arco Barman.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Katie O'Shea, and I'm here on behalf of Houston Energy and Climate Week and a nonprofit, Allies in Energy. We offer our deepest condolences to the family of Mr. Soldado Araujo, and we stand with this community tonight. We hold in our thoughts those still being held in custody. Out of respect, we will defer our comments regarding Houston Energy and Climate Week to a later date, and we can send comments through to the council.
Next.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Arco Barman. I'm an associate professor of statistics at Rice University. I'm here to demand that the Houston City Council terminate its contract with Flock Safety and other similar systems. More than 53 municipalities across the U.S. have already cut ties with Flock, and Houston should be next. I have 14 years of research experience building these systems, and I know they are not reliable enough for real-world use. A recent audit by LAPD Inspector General found an error rate of 1 in 3, which means the 1 billion license plates read by them have 323 million errors. That's equal to the population of the entire United States. As you go home, 5 out of 16 of your plates are going to be misread by Flock or a similar system. And Flock has been operating illegally in Texas for more than 5 years. Between 2019 and 2024, Flock operated without a private investigator license in Texas. Then, between October and December 2025, Flock continued operating illegally in the state of Texas. We deserve better. City of Houston residents should not accept a surveillance system that's wrong 1 out of 3 times, run by a company that broke state law for over half a decade. And this cost the city $6.4 million over 5 years, while essential services like HFD languishes. There are 10 short fire stations, no new trucks, no new crews, and HFD runs short of 65 ambulances. $6.4 million can be spent on building a new fire station and 10 ambulances for a year. This isn't a hard choice. The City of Houston must terminate the Flock contract and redistribute to useful funds.
Thank you. Next. Councilor Pollard.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to add Lakeisha Lloyd to the bottom of the once 3 minute, now 1 minute agenda list.
Very good. Motion made and second. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next speaker.
Robert LaBelle. Christopher Davis of Spring. Larry Anthony. Christopher Graham. Caleb Karowski. Felipe Woods of Spring. To be followed by Brian Lisco of Sugar Land.
I had a whole speech written out, but I'd rather just scrap it and only keep the ones that I needed to say. This is ridiculous, all right? Here we are after 2 weeks since Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was murdered in our streets, in our neighborhoods. We still do not know who the names of the ICE agents that pulled the trigger. And here we are, 2 weeks later, again, coming here to get you guys to be courageous and not act like a bunch of cowards. Our demands are simple. Pressure Abbott and the Trump administration to release Victor Salgado Araujo, Daniel Tiago Pantoja, and Jose Trinidad Rojas, who can provide extensive testimony on what happened
your time has
that
expired.
day.
Thank you.
Brian Lisco of Sugar Land. To be followed by Susana Duran.
Hi, guys. Good to see you again. Set myself a 3-minute timer here. So, seemed like you guys' hands were kind of glued to your desks or something before. Let's try again, huh? So, we know that this murder was just the latest episode in a centuries-long project of clearing out this land of people that look like him for people that look like me. And I think anyone who claims to know better than the Nazi, the white supremacist, the colonizer, the slaver, should say that this is pretty easily unacceptable. So, do we know better, is the question. And so let's go around the room, huh? Would you like to start, Mr. Mayor? Do you know better than a Nazi?
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
I've got 1 minute and 45 seconds left. Do you know better than a Nazi?
Sir, we're under a 1 minute rule.
White supremacist?
Complete your comments.
Let's all raise our hands. These are my comments. And if you don't raise your hand, I'm going to call you a Nazi. What are we talking about? Let's raise our hand.
Thank you.
Everybody who knows better than a Nazi, raise your hand.
Thank you, sir. You're excused.
I've got 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Everybody who knows better than a white supremacist, raise your hand.
Wrap it up, sir.
Come on, man. Mr. Flickinger, Panzarella, Tarsha. Hey, I met you. What's going on?
Sir, thank you. Your time's up.
Where's your hand at?
Next.
Do you know better than a white supremacist?
Susana Duran.
Do you disagree with this whole stuff? This is not right.
Next.
My name is Susana Duran. I'm a resident of District J. I live in Sharpstown, and I initially wanted to appeal to faith, righteousness, and reasonableness, but I witnessed a particularly cruel and callous line of questioning during a Prop A committee meeting earlier today that was just absolutely bereft of compassion and really any foundation of economics knowledge. But blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. What happens when HPD calls ICE again and the ICE agent that comes is like the one that killed Lorenzo? What happens when we have asked you to end the HPD and ICE collaboration and only two council members right here before me had the spine and the reasonableness to do the right thing and push forth an ordinance? Thank you, council members Pollard and Salinas, and previously came in who also supported that. What happens then? I have this ringing in my head for the past 3 weeks that when we were trying to support that ordinance, I kept hearing from the mayor and certain council members, well, this is in Minneapolis. What does that even mean now?
Thank you,
What
ma'am.
happens when HPD calls another rogue killer ICE agent? That's on your hands.
Brianna Arevalo of Richmond, to be followed by Sandra Edwards.
Hello, my name is Brianna Arevalo. I am an elementary school teacher in HISD at a school in Sharpstown with over 85% emergent bilinguals. Every day, teachers across Houston are challenged to engage students in their learning within a world in which they feel confused, insecure in their living conditions, and at times incredibly unsafe. Absences, withdrawals, and decreasing enrollments are on the rise. This has put both a strain on our city's children's education and led to the elimination of several teaching positions to accommodate higher classroom ratios. Students are disrupting and opting out of classes. Families are fleeing our city. Due to fear, violence, and fatality, you all have failed to prevent on our streets. I wish to remind you that we are up to our necks in a crisis of deep-seated apathy in our society. Not only are children struggling to care about their learning, their health, and their future, not only are U.S. citizens struggling to care about political issues in a system that makes them feel powerless. You, all the members of the council sitting before me, are struggling to care and take action that thousands across our city are facing racial profiling, state-sanctioned violence and brutality, and violations to their human constitutional rights to due process for years.
Thank you.
Please, we demand the release of all the witnesses to Lorenzo Salgado's murder from ICE detention, the release of the names of the ICE officers that killed him, a complete cessation to HPD's collaboration with ICE, and that you take a stand against those in the state government that have opposed your prior efforts to address these issues.
Thank you.
My students, my family, and all immigrants need you. They deserve safety, peace of mind, and the ability to thrive in our great city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandra Edwards. Thomas Sutherland, to be followed by Carolina Martinez.
Good evening, Council. We warned you about this. We came to these chambers month after month, session after session. We told you about ICE's history of violent behavior, provided countless stories and examples of federal agents brutalizing and even killing people. We told you that ICE's presence in our city is a danger to its inhabitants. We asked you to do something to protect us from this threat to our safety. You had a chance to do something in April. Instead, you cowered and caved to the pressure from the state. Now, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo's blood is on the streets you govern. And it is not just on the streets you govern, it is on your hands. I stood next to this. I want every single one of you to look at this. Take it in.
Thank you. Nick.
Carolina Martinez.
Good evening, City Council. Months after months after we've visited City Council, yes, I'll be speaking on her behalf.
Are you Carolina Martinez?
I'll be speaking on her behalf, ma'am.
So you are not Carolina Martinez?
May I speak on her behalf?
We just need his name for the record.
We're fine. We're fine. Thank you. Go ahead. I got it.
Get his name.
I got it. Don't worry about it.
My name is Adam Loriano Bowie. Okay. Months after months of visiting City Council and watching each and every one of your faces stare at me in apathy regarding over the words I say, I witnessed one of the worst things that I ever have witnessed in the city of Houston. Whitmire, you offer nothing but words of platitude and empty gestures to the son of the man that was murdered on our very streets. Even now, you stare at me with such empty eyes, just as much as the rest of City Council does, because as much as I hate to admit it, I am very much unconvinced that you are unwilling to do anything about this murder and to seek justice for Lorenzo Araujo. Nothing I've seen in the months that I've read, nothing I've seen in months that I've come here to visit and speak with you on City Council has suggested to me that you do anything about ICE in our city. So instead, I'm going to turn that to our people. I believe in the city of Houston, and I believe in its goodness, not because I see a bunch of politicians stare at me with hateful and tired eyes, but because I believe that we can be there for each other in this city, in this hard time. I believe that we can find justice in each other. I believe that we can find justice within ourselves, outside of the people that sit here.
Thank you.
Do you want to believe these people?
Angel Leal. Bentley Gilchrist, to be followed by Aileen Zacharias.
Hello, City Council. My name is Bentley Gilchrist. I'm a student at the University of Houston, where I study to get a certification in teaching math from grades 7 through 12. That's why it horrifies me to see students of this city be kidnapped off our streets by ICE agents. That's why it horrifies me to see Ronaldo Salgado, a UH alumni and a teacher, someone I very much aspire to be, recount the horror of searching through the East End at 7 a.m. in the morning not knowing if his dad was alive or dead. In all this horror, when I look to City Council, I see timidness. I see half measures. I see a refusal to dig your feet in and fight the terror that ICE brings upon our communities. John Whitmire, Mr. Whitmire, you talk about how you admire the courage of Ronaldo. Where is your own? You talk about how you admire his strength to come up to City Council. Where is your strength to stop HPD from collaborating with ICE? To stop ICE from coming into our city to make more Lorenzo Salgados? You've said time and time again that there is simply nothing you can do. This is wrong. I'm a problem-oriented person, so let me give you some solutions. Firstly, publicly call, as the city of Houston, to release
your time has expired.
Now 2 individuals in ICE detention. 2, repeal the Abbott Amendment, and when he comes back, fight him in the courts. 3, stop spending $6.4 million of our taxpayer money to install surveillance cameras across this city. Tear them down.
Thank you.
Every day you are in here, you stare at this flyer. The people are the city. So why won't you protect the people?
Aileen Zacharias, to to be followed by Ricky Sanchez.
Hello, my name's Elaine from Katy, Texas. I'm a member. Oh, okay, cool. Hi, my name's Elaine. I'm from Katy, Texas. I'm a member of Houston DSA. I just wanted to share a testimony from an immigrant that we came into interviewing with. They said, los inmigrantes no son criminales, estamos luchando. Nadie es persona mala, estoy ganando comida, estamos luchando. And to translate the rest in English, the government is not protecting us, it's not fair. And also to add, I've been to local flea markets lately where the community is just quite frankly very afraid at this time. And I just ask everyone here, please, as everyone has mentioned before me very bravely, to please play their part in ending HPD cooperation with ICE so that our community members can feel safe, specifically immigrants and black and brown people. I ask that you guys please allow the restoration of Councilmember Salinas' ordinance and full transparency as well. And then I also ask that we release Victor, Jose, and Daniel. Thank you.
Howdy. My name is Ricky Sanchez, and I'm a Houstonian born and raised, and I'm a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. I need to mention that before I came up here, I was told I couldn't bring my Palestine scarf upstairs because it was considered a banner, so I'm a little heated right now. It's a cruel irony considering the documented deadly exchange of tactics and technology between the Zionist occupation forces and ICE agents, tested to the genocide and oppression of the Palestinian people. Free Palestine and the abolition of ICE are two sides of the same coin. There's a lot of righteous theory in this room, and comparisons have been made between ICE, Nazis, Gestapo, fascism, but that's not inaccurate, but we don't need to go overseas for a historical analogy. We can look at the long, dark history of the U.S. and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. The history of the slaveholder, the slave catcher. Before the 14th Amendment, black slaves were not considered citizens. They were considered the property of the slave owner. If you had to carry papers to show you were free, or you were authorized to travel, or you were undocumented and subject to arrest and punishment. Does that sound familiar to anyone here? This was a brutal federal enforcement regime that deputized local officials and forced them to comply, regardless if slavery was legal in the state. But this act and the system was not defended by compliance and collaboration. It was defeated by black Americans, abolitionists, organizing vigilance committees, vowing to defend black residents, regardless of what the legal regime dictated. To quote,
Mr. Sanchez, your time has expired. Mr. Sanchez, your time has
Constitution and
expired.
Constitution, law and the law, we will allow no fugitive slave to be taken from Massachusetts. That's the kind of energy we need right now in this city. That's the energy we need from our elected officials. Stand up for something.
Thank you. Next speaker. Next speaker.
Sergio Valverde.
Sergio Valverde.
To be followed by Samantha Farley.
All right, check. Buenas tardes. I am Sergio Javier Valverde. I'm a Chicano filmmaker here in Houston, and I've lived here all my life. I am older than ICE is, and sometime in the mid-2000s, mi abuela, que descansa en paz, came to this country with my tío Meme to provide him with proper cancer treatment. And it was only out of the kindness of a complete stranger that they were able to get to the hospital. And I think about that stranger all the time, and I feel that same kindness and that same love within the communities that Houston has. The East End is the most beautiful place. And to witness Lorenzo Salgado Araujo's murder, to witness the inaction, to witness the collective grief has broken my heart time and time again. And it is only because of the community that one of the people who were also detained were freed.
Your time has
demand
expired.
the rest of the people to also be freed. We demand an end of HPD and ICE collaboration. We demand a call to abolish ICE, and that's the bare minimum.
Thank you, Mr. Valverde. Next speaker.
Samantha Farley,
Samantha Farley.
to be followed by Maximiliano Diaz.
Testing. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. Council members, you all have families, congregations, and communities that you serve. I urge you today, when you hear the pleas of those around you, that you see that this is also the pleas of a family, a community, and a city that is mourning. If you love black and brown people, it could have been one of your loved ones that was murdered. You have a duty as the voice of your people to advocate for our wishes. This is a chance to show your district, your city, your community that you don't bend to state interference, that you can follow the leads of other sanctuary cities, that you take the time not just to listen, but to understand what your constituents are saying. If you see the value in your position, then you must acknowledge that it is in your power to call for the end of HPD collaboration with ICE. End HPD collaboration with ICE now. Prosecute the officers who murdered Lorenzo. Release the witnesses to Lorenzo's death. Make sure this doesn't happen again. Anything else is a disgrace to the people of Houston.
Next speaker.
Hello, I'm translating this. It's written in Spanish. I'm not in agreement with what's happening. It's a kidnapping. It's what happens in other places. The children are afraid. They're being mistreated. And innocent people are being attacked just for their appearance. They're workers. And another message here. I demand a release of Victor, David, and Joseph. I don't like how ICE treats Hispanics. Now, what's been happening has been really horrible. It's just been a travesty. But a lot of what's happened, there are a lot of things that happened before this, even before the murder of Mr. Araujo, that just kind of made it easier for these things to happen. Just how much has been given to HPD and for surveillance, to setting up this infrastructure for them to be able to do anything, as you got public services in some of these very communities. Mayor, even when talking about things like transit, Mayor Whitmire has said some very racist things about Gulfton residents, and it's just been very pathetic. It's been
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next.
Haley Snyder. Haley Snyder. To be followed by Daniel Gomez.
Hello, my name is Haley, and I'm representing Socialist Alternative. Today, I'm speaking to the people here who actually matter, our community. We are fighting for our friends, co-workers, and loved ones who are targeted, murdered, assaulted. We need elected officials and movement leaders who will fight to ensure our community's well-being by funding HISD maybe instead of ICE. Like a fellow speaker was trying to say before he was unjustly removed, when we look at history, we find that what is happening to immigrant communities today comes from the same policies used to commit genocide against indigenous nations. The murder, brutal removal of peoples from their homes, their detention, and separation from family. Does that sound familiar? Our representative supports this by doing nothing, but we, the working people in Houston, will not carry on that legacy. We must organize a massive coalition to shut Houston down so those who say their hands are tied will listen to us, because what they're motivated by is not helping us, the people who put them into office, but their pocketbooks. And by the way, We will get ICE out of Houston. We will get ICE out of Texas, and we are going to get ICE out of everywhere.
Good evening. I've seen a lot of disgraceful behavior from you men and women up here in the way that you are interacting with your constituents. Absolutely disgraceful and not befitting of someone that calls themselves a leader. I would like to remind you of some of our history. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. ICE is the antithesis of what our Declaration of Independence was written for. Another definition that I like to give you is straight from the DOD. The calculated use of unlawful violence or threat of unlawful violence to inculcate fear intended to coerce or to intimidate governments or societies in the pursuit of goals that are generally political, religious, or ideological. Do any of you know what that is from? That is the DOD definition of terrorism, of terrorists. ICE is a paramilitary terrorist group that is running rampant in our streets, killing civilians and citizens alike.
Your time has expired.
It is disgraceful to this nation and to the people that you say you serve. Thank you for your time.
Haley Rogers. To be followed by Lakeisha Lloyd.
Firstly, thank you, Councilwoman Salinas, for your leadership and putting me on the docket. I appreciate it. Hello, my name is Haley Rogers. I am a new resident of District G. Hi, Marianne. But before I lived in District G, I lived in Mission Bend, a Leaf district. I've lived there. I'm a lifelong resident, and my community is like the East community. It is multicultural, it is diverse, and it is the target of ICE. And our community is scared because of Lorenzo's murder. My family, my friends, the people who I think are my family as well are scared to go outside. They're scared to leave their homes. And I'd like to read a statement from a community member named Jose in Mission Bend. Jose says, "I'm worried. What happened was sad. I can only imagine the family feels horrible. I hope the mayor makes a change and helps protect the immigrants that agents are acting too forceful. They need to identify themselves. I'm worried. We don't know if ICE or if it's ICE or some random person pulls us over. What happened to Lorenzo can happen at any point again. I urge this entire council to use your platform and your city leverage to call a press conference to release Victor Salgado and his worker, Daniel Pantojas." Thank you.
Mayor.
You, Ms. Lloyd, go ahead. Look.
Good evening, everyone. Really quick before I make my statements, I am a United States Army veteran. I have sacrificed my mind, my body for this country, and I would appreciate it if I could have your undivided attention for my sacrifice. My name is Lakeisha Lloyd. I am a resident in Spring. I live literally right on the border of the Houston city limits. And like I said, I'm a United States Army veteran, and I'm a national director with Common Defense, a veterans advocacy organization. You've heard from some of my veterans this evening. This is why I'm here today. Lorenzo Salgado was a husband, a father, and a 35-year resident of this community. And he was on his way to work and should have made it home. There's no reason why that man shouldn't have made it home. He was not the target. Veterans know that courage is not only found on the battlefield. Sometimes courage means standing right here in City Hall in front of you fine folks and telling the truth. And sometimes it means using our voices to ensure that those with power hear the people they were elected to serve. We are calling on you, Mayor Whitmire. I would like it if you looked at me, sir. Thank you.
Your time
and the
has
Houston
expired.
City Council to take meaningful action by supporting an independent local investigation, demanding transparency from every agency involved, and standing with Lorenzo's family. I did not fight and watch my comrades fall on the battlefield to have to sit here and have my son, who is 15 years old, watch his schoolmates afraid to come to school. I did not fight and sacrifice my life and my veterans' lives for this right here. If we can be held accountable in the United States military under the UCMJ for the exact same actions, if we had took this, we'd be under Leavenworth. Now, I don't know what y'all call patriots, but I'm a patriot. I'm having to watch my military gear on a lawless unit terrorizing our streets. Do something about this, or we will see you in November.
Next.
Noel Freeman, to be followed by Audrey Nath.
Good evening. In the Houston Public Works Strategic Plan, there are 6 core values. The very first core value is responsiveness. We will respond timely with care and commitment. It's been 6 weeks since I raised my issues about 1002 West 11th to Public Works, and I haven't even had anyone, not one single person, acknowledge that I contacted the department. Everything goes through Councilmember Alcorn's office or Councilmember Panzarella's office. They'll talk to you folks all day long, but they will not talk to a citizen of the city of Houston who has an issue with a problem they helped create. Now, I want to give credit where it's due. I reported illegal dumping of food trash on my fence line by this restaurant. Solid Waste resolved that issue in 16 hours. To ARA's credit, they contacted me 30 minutes after I spoke here 2 weeks ago, and the health department called me this afternoon about an issue with used cooking oil being stored along my fence line. Mayor Whitmire, I will reiterate the ask that I had 2 weeks ago. Please compel Public Works to force a resolution to this issue. I can't even get, hey, we got your email, we'll look into it. Not even that.
Your time has expired.
Thank you all.
Hey, no, give Rebecca Williams your information.
Thank you.
Next.
Audrey Nath. Danny Hernandez. Neil Colbert. Maurice Bell. Jacob Clementich, to be followed by Jay Bustos.
Hi, Mayor Whitmire. At any rate, you heard a lot of complaining, and some of it is very much justified. But at any rate, I bring you two gifts: a hat autographed by some Dynamo players and a jersey autographed by a top pick player for the day, namely me. Yeah, right there you see it is Jacob K. And at any rate, the stories I can tell from my mother telling to me about my father who was an immigrant. Yeah, I felt for us. This is worse. This is Gestapo.
Thank you, Jacob.
Jay Bustos, to be followed by Anthony Hubbard.
Hello, everyone. Your friendly neighborhood Houstonian. I must say I find it appalling and bewildering with the lack of action and voices of this council for fighting for this city and its residents, all residents. Lorenzo was murdered July 7th, 3 weeks since his passing, and nothing has been done. Even though the obviousness of what should already be done, of cutting all ties with ICE, despite also y'all saying y'all do not have the ability to do anything, y'all do. Y'all can do a bunch of different steps. Here's the list I could say. 1, of course, the top of the list, get justice for Lorenzo. Release those witnesses. 2, cut the contracts with Flock. Get rid of all the cameras. Next, end non-safety traffic stops. That's assisting ICE with all this. And next, publicly be more vocal about ICE. They're inhumane. They're an inhumane
Your time
mercenary
has
group
expired.
that are committing illegal acts, kidnapping and murdering people. And I ask again, how much pain and apparent blood is needed for y'all to actually get up and do something?
Anthony Hubbard, to be followed by Cameron Watterson.
How much pain, how much blood? Mayor Whitmire, today you promised calls for reform to Ronaldo. I sincerely hope that you follow through on that promise. But truth be told, public trust is at an all-time low. It has been 3 weeks and nothing has been done. Mayor, you can extend empathy to the family, but true empathy would mean no one else. No one else should have to feel that pain. Not one more Estonian. And how can we expect that? It has been 3 weeks and nothing has happened. Any three of y'all could sign a Prop A ordinance to put forth to council. Y'all have had 3 weeks. Mayor, I sincerely hope that you follow through on that promise and you call for reform.
Since our last 2 council meetings, I watched our city representatives try to repair their egos from what Houston has said. So, Mr. Mayor, let me speak within the decorum of a legislative session and the council. Your policymaking has shown that you are too politically inept to handle city policy or public safety. Your abysmal fiscal shortfalls and failures show you are more than just morally bankrupt, but that you truly do not care. And for those of our council who say that let's make sure to go and vote and do more than protest, suggesting that we can vote the problem away, this statement was not only tone deaf, but it was politically ignorant to history itself. These protesters are more than your labels. They are organizers, workers, parents, Houstonians. We organize food drives for those you leave in food deserts to starve. We organize school and clothing drives for those you won't clothe or educate. We organize Know Your Rights outreach for the communities you have left to die. And we did all this while being registered to vote. A vote will not bring back a father to his children or lift the weight of death off of our city. We have votes, but you have HPD, the Treasury, Public Works, and the ability for city ordinance to prevent
your time
violence.
has expired.
We call for the names of the murderers released and to be prosecuted. We call for all passengers to be freed. We call for an independent investigation and ending of all collaboration with ICE and HPD. And again, you have a chance. This is a test. TPS is now revoked. So what are we going to do at Houston to prevent a second class of citizens in our country? And what are we going to do to prevent another Houstonian off our streets by death? And how do we save another father from being killed, making sure that they go home to their kids? So please reflect on this, guys. It's very important. Thank you.
Nessie Gavanov. This completes the list of speakers.
We stand recessed till 9 in the morning.